Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cabral Concept, episode 2 of our weekend Cabral HouseCall. So basically part 2, every weekend answering about 10 questions now from the community. Love being able to try to give back as much as I can, answer any questions that you write in at stephencabral.com/askcabral. Again, just appreciate all of your support of the Integrative Health Practitioner community, Equal Life, the Rain Barrel Effect, you name it. And so just whenever I can try to help in any way, I want to be able to do that. We also provide free support on a daily basis so that you don't need to wait to get your question answered if you don't want. And that's at cabralsupportgroup.com. Completely free private Facebook group where my team answers your health-based questions. All right, let's go over the questions of the day. So I don't see these ahead of time. I literally just opened up the document for my team that put them together. And I see here the first question from John. John says, I wanted to know if you have any info on BP 157 that's all over the internet. Thanks. Yes. So John, I want to let you know, and my team just made a quick notation that I talked about BP 157 in episode 3332. So not that long ago. You can find that at stephencabral.com/3332. But I'll just give you a quick excerpt because you asked this question on June 10th, and so you deserve an answer. So I just finished an 8-week oral course of BP 157. It's really the first peptide that I have tried, only because there's a lot of trials and safety and efficacy around it in humans. And instead of an injectable, which I don't like to inject things into my body, it's just a personal preference because it bypasses our own natural detoxification-based organs. And so I'd be really careful, again, just with IV drips and injections. I'm not saying you can't do them, and I'm not saying there's not a time and a place. I'm just saying, proceed with caution. So BP 157, if you do the oral form, it seems to help more of the gut, but has more of the anti-inflammatory joint and or muscle-based effects. So I use it mainly because as someone that consumed over 3,000 capsules of amoxicillin and decimated my gut health until my early 20s, that I said, you know what, if there's still more work that can be done with my gut, I'd love to try that out with a natural peptide. And so that's what I did. I will tell you that I used one of the best brands out there for oral-based BP 157, and I used the coated capsule so it would make its way to the gut. I felt no effect whatsoever from taking it at a high dosage for 8 weeks. Now, you could say I should have taken it longer, I should have done this, I should have done that, totally understand. Here's the thing with everything in life, if you don't need it, you're probably not going to get an effect, right? So I'm not saying that it doesn't work. What I'm saying is I've done so much work over the last 20 years, technically it's been now 30 years, that I most likely just didn't need it. But the stack that is going around is called BP 157 and TB 500, and they're calling that the Wolverine stack. I'll probably do a podcast on that. What I would say is this: a 6-week to 12-week course of those two for people with muscle injuries and joint pain, etc., I think might not be a bad idea. But again, find the underlying root cause, fix your foundational based support, follow the de-stress protocol that I read about in the Rain Barrel Effect, and then you can do the add-on if you want. And a lot of people get great results with that. Again, I just don't have those issues right now, fortunately, but if I ever did, I wouldn't be against it. I just don't think that they should be, I don't think peptides should be used lightly. All right. So there we have it. Jessica is up next. Jessica says, hi, Dr. Wall. First, thank you for sharing your knowledge and for all that you do. Happy to help, Jessica. Thank you for writing in. I was skeptical of naturopathy, but you made a believer out of me. With a few podcasts and diet changes, my life has been changing for the better. Question about a new supplement that I've heard about called Stasis. I was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD in the first grade. I'm now 32 and have been on medication since then. Recently, I heard about a supplement. Have you heard of this? What are your thoughts? Okay, so I don't know that supplement, but also the supplement. So let's go back. Let's start at the beginning. I know people say they're skeptical of naturopathy. They're skeptical of this. Naturopathy is just a name. It literally means nothing. It is the study of nature. Like it's like in non-pharmaceutical medicine. So what I'm saying by that is that look at the science and techniques behind things. Is there reproducible, replicable science with naturopathy? Absolutely. Like everything we do is based on true, verifiable science. Even the Ayurvedic medicine that I talk about, we can verify those things. And the things that we can't, I always tell you that. But then there are parts of naturopathy like homeopathy. A lot of it is non-verifiable or non-reproducible. I don't use that in my practice. I'm not saying that it can't work for some people, but when people work with myself and my team, we're getting you results. That's it. That's the bottom line. Like we're getting you results because we're using reproducible research that we know works. Not only like in the PubMed scientific papers, but over the last 25 years in our practice. So, but I have no problem with skepticism. Like, and I love that. Like, I really am. I'm skeptical of the supplement that you just named, right? Because I don't know. But remember, ADD, ADHD has underlying root causes. I'll be doing another full show on this. But remember, ADD, ADHD could be methylation issues. Okay, are you getting enough methylated B12, methylated, paradoxical 5-phosphate and B6, methylated folate? Are you getting enough magnesium? Are you getting enough zinc, right? Because a lot of ADD, ADHD matches cryptopyrrole-based disorder, which is a lack of zinc in the body. Do you have high levels of copper? Have you run the vitamin tox test to look at your vitamin and mineral levels? So in my opinion, if everybody just ran the starter kit, which is called a vitamin tox test, or the big 5 ideally, and they're all at stephencabral.com/shop. You'll find all the labs there. But I'm telling you right now, you also don't need to run it with us. I just want you to know all of this is available. You could run it with an integrative health practitioner, level 2 or level 3 now. So, because again, the supplement you just named, I don't know it. All it contains is ingredients, right? So it's like, do you need those ingredients? Because if you do, then they will balance your body and you won't feel the ADD, ADHD. So that's how we work with the brain and body-based chemistry. These have been long answers today. Hopefully that was helpful, Jessica, but thank you for writing in. So it's always about ingredients. Names of things are semantics. Even naturopathy is semantics. Like, okay, every practitioner is a little bit different. How does that doctor of naturopathy or naturopath or integrative health practitioner or functional medicine practitioner, how do they practice? That's what matters most. We don't guess, we test. We see exactly what your body needs, what it has too much of. We take out the toxicities that it has too much of, bring those down, and then we add back the deficiencies you have. And it's all science-based. And that's also why it works. It's reproducible and it's bio-individualized for each individual. All right, let's move on. Charlene's up next. Charlene says, hi, thank you for all your help. I was wondering if you had any info about caffeine and mood. I stopped all caffeine for a time, but every now and then I have a regular coffee and my mood seems better on those days. Is there anything I can do to help not need caffeine to be in a good mood? Yes, absolutely. So just think about this. So like caffeine in and of itself is not a bad thing. The average human most humans can do 200 to 300 milligrams, no problem a day. If you weigh more, you might be able to do a little bit more. Some people, they get jittery, they get anxious when they take in caffeine. Caffeine would not be good for them, right? So again, this is where bio-individuality comes in. Charlene drinks some caffeine and she feels better. Phenomenal. Would she feel better if she just took a caffeine pill? I don't know. Does it have something to do with the polyphenols in the coffee, the heat, plus the ritual, plus the caffeine? Maybe it's just the caffeine. No problem. So what does caffeine do? Caffeine can actually stimulate more of the sympathetic nervous system, more of the norepinephrine, potentially even dopamine in the body. And that boosts people's mood, literally boosts their mood. So if coffee or caffeine is not causing other detrimental side effects, it can actually be positive for the brain and body. In Ayurvedic medicine, it's really recommended more so for people that are the kapha-based body type. They have lower and slower dopamine, norepinephrine, sympathetic nervous system output. Again, I studied this for many years. Actually, the first person I ever heard who said that was Deepak Chopra. And I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, let's look more into this. And anyway, so that can be helpful. I typically do recommend it after a meal, not before a meal, because it's too stimulating for the nervous system. But again, there's kind of a time and place for everything. And so what I would say is this. If you don't want to be reliant on it, you could do the precursors to things such as dopamine, which would be like an L-tyrosine. If you're lower thyroid, this could be one of those reasons. So inside of our daily thyroid support, it contains L-tyrosine, it contains other boosters for the thyroid like selenium, etc. And so you're kind of like, okay, well, why is your body needing the boost? So again, going back to, if we don't want to guess, we can run the stress, mood, and metabolism test and actually look at your thyroid and look at your cortisol levels in the morning. And instead of using caffeine, we might use adrenal energy support. And if needed, you would use daily thyroid support. And so like that could be a little boost. Anyway, and if you're not using daily nutritional support and daily omega-3 support, I can't recommend those enough for mood. So I would definitely do that because they give you all your methylated Bs, B vitamins. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you're good with coffee, well, you might just do like I do, a half regular, half decaf coffee after breakfast every morning. I love it. Don't necessarily need it, but I enjoy it. And that's that. Okay. Lillian's up next. Lillian says, hello, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do. I've been struggling with the DNS flavor. It's incredibly sweet. I've seen many posts in the support group of people having the same problem. Many have tried the spices and other recommendations. My question is, do you think at some point there will be an unflavored, unsweet DNS powder available? I know Michelle has said that the flavor of the vitamins would be prevalent, but I really would rather have that sweetness in it. Besides, if we would add greens and blueberries, fruit, that would not be an issue. Are there any chances that there will be one made? Please. Okay, I totally understand. You know, the hardest thing in the world is to make a flavor that the entire world likes. Like that's it. We all have different palates. We all have different tastes. So we have the vanilla and we have the chocolate. And I would recommend, trying one of each. Oftentimes people say it's not sweet enough. They say it doesn't have that much of a flavor. Some people, such as yourself, say that it's too sweet. So if it's too sweet, we recommend adding more water and it just dilutes the flavor. And then you can add, your berries, things that you talk about. But at the end of the day, I mean, we have tens of thousands of people around the world using daily nutritional support. Like it is, you're all in one. It's 12 different products in one. So it saves you a ton of money. Makes an easy smoothie. People mix it oatmeal, they mix it whatever they want. Like it's easy. It's what my family uses every morning. But again, it doesn't have to be what you use. I want to impress that upon people. It's like, you don't have to. There's another way. And you could simply do 4 capsules of the daily activated multivitamin. And that's the same potency, but it's missing a couple things like the fiber and it's missing the 15 grams of protein. So I get that. But if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And I totally understand. So what you can do is the 4 capsules of daily activated multi, you can take 2 at breakfast and 2 at dinner, or take all 4 at breakfast if you want. And then you can use your favorite protein powder that you choose and then maybe add, a scoop of psyllium husk to that. And it wouldn't be exactly like the daily nutritional support, but it would be close. And so that might be the best option for you. And my goal is just to make a healthy lifestyle work for you. Now, having said that, and you didn't hear it from me, and actually I can't mention that, but stay tuned with other things coming from Equal Life in the future. That's all I have to say. I can't say anything more than that. But yes, you can use the daily activated multi and your favorite protein powder. We will be coming out with an unflavored something in the future. We'll put it that way, but it won't be the DNS. You can't. And I'm going to tell you why. You can do the experiment yourself. Take one of our daily activated multivitamins, put it in some water, mix it around, see how it tastes. It is awful because vitamins are bitter. Like they're literally bitter. So you can't do it that way. No, nobody would take that, including myself. And I'll swallow pretty much anything. All right, Sean's up next. My sister-in-law was recently diagnosed with small vessel polyigitis. She's in her late 50s and overall she is very healthy. Works out, stays active, and eats healthy. What course or treatment recommendations would you suggest for her? Thank you. I appreciate your input and guidance. All right, so first of all, I can't believe I can give my disclaimer yet, but the whole show and all shows, I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. All right. So this is a swelling of the small blood vessels, and it's fairly rare, but it can actually happen with viral-based issues, heavy metals, autoimmune issues. So I don't know why, Sean, your sister-in-law got this, but she's in her late 50s and seemingly healthy. So healthy people sometimes get, detrimental viruses that can cause these things. So what we would need to look at is, okay, is there anything imbalanced on our end that we can look at? And we run the Big 5. You could also add maybe the mold and mycotoxins test, or you can add the stool test if you want to look for parasites. So I would go deep and I would say, okay, well, what's going on with the body right now? That's what we can help with. We can help with all the imbalances in the body. Maybe there's parasites, mold, mycotoxins, heavy metals, high levels of omega-6s to omega-3s, electrolyte imbalance. We can run all of those things. They're all at stephencabral.com/shop. That just takes you over to Equilife, which is our practice. Okay. With her physicians, she could be running for HPV, Epstein-Barr virus. She could be running for CMV. She could be running for Lyme. She could be running for other things that might be going on in the body that then you would want to work on in those cases. Sometimes a doctor, a more like functional based doctor, will put this individual on a low dose naltrexone that can help alleviate some of this swelling in the meantime. But I'm an underlying root cause practitioner. So for me, like there's no guesswork because anybody can guess. Like it's just like, and we can give you educated guesses on what to do, but it would be unethical of me to say you should take this supplement and then you should do this and you should. I just don't like, I want to look for the underlying root cause because there's always an underlying root cause. Even if you said that this was a rare dis-ease, and I'm putting that in air quotes, understood. But she didn't have this most likely at 10 years old. So why is it showing up at 50? Because, she had the same genetics. So something set it off. Something inside of the body has overflowed the rain barrel. We need to empty that rain barrel by finding out what the underlying root cause is. All right, Sean, hopefully this is helpful. You are a good person helping out your sister-in-law. Let us know if we can help with any follow-ups. Take care, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing weekend, and I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great one. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.